2015 budget. I figured everybody kind of looked it over again, came back out in our packets.
Yeah, so this is updated through November. So last month's was, I don't really think anything changed, but your projections for the year end. So, or no, your projections didn't even change, your year-to-dates did. So, I didn't get any comments or anything since the last meeting. If anybody had any questions or concerns or additions or deletions or...
We really need to pass this tonight.
No, fair enough. Gave everybody a chance to look it over. Had any questions? Send back comments. Does anybody have anything, any concerns? I looked it over. Kind of like last year's.
The rate study?
No, the
budget.
rate study's on hold.
Okay, did we leave that $5,000 in there for the wiring?
Yes.
Tell you.
Well, that's not, it's just in there. It's not committed
No, but
to it.
we'll be writing more checks to Portage and rest of them and,
Unless we approve it.
It would have to be approved. It's just, it's not approved.
well, then how did this one that came through tonight get approved?
Because
That was last
we
year's.
already did approve twice $5,000. That money has not been spent. I would rather budget for it and not spend it than need it and not have budgeted for it.
Well,
But that argument or debate is still forthcoming on whether we want to actually contribute a third $5,000 to them.
I'm not gonna say too much for obvious reasons, but I gotta tell you, I haven't seen anything done. And we're not just dealing with $5,000 a year input to pay for attorney's fees on this effort. With every 3 commissioners, every month, 2 commissioners go to one down there at the water district for the WIRA meeting. And then 3 commissioners generally go to the one in the garden room on the next Wednesday night. So when you add all of this up, it's not really a $5,000 dedication. It's close to $30,000 by the end of the year.
It's not that much.
Well, I don't know, there's a lot of money to spend on a joint effort with other water districts when they can't show me a plan of how they're gonna go forward and what they're gonna do. Because what I've seen so far, and I have to commend one of the attorneys, Bob Carmichael, because he has gotten the entire thing from A to B, even an idiot like me can understand it. However, there's just nowhere to go until they do something. Until the Lummies either file against us or they start trying to seize our water rights. And, you know, it appears as though I'm trying to take meetings away from people here by my interest in saving this district money, but it sure don't make sense to me to go to something that can't go any longer. And I'm willing to hear what you have to say, Richard. I know there's something.
This is not the time to debate that. All I will say to you is this ain't about the Lummies. If you've gone and paid attention, has nothing to do with the Lummies. This has to do with planning and who makes the rules and whether we want to say so in the rules we got to live by. And I can't make it any simpler than that. If you're saying
The only other point that we need to add here is if we're not up to date and understand the whole process, we are doing a disservice to our ratepayers, because when it comes down to it, the small water districts are the low-hanging fruit on the tree, and they're the first ones that are going to get plucked when we start talking about water rights. And I can do nothing more than cite the Dungeness case, where they just took everybody's water away from them and shut them down. So I don't think we want to go.
the only thing I would add to that is you got Endurus paying for us to get continuing education out of their pocket. You have Department of Health putting on classes all over the state, even throwing in, contributing money for them because they're sick and tired of small districts not being informed, messing up. They're throwing in money. That's how important it is to the Department of Health. And I'm not going to go along with we should just sit here and do nothing and keep in our little shell. No,
I'm not saying that we should sit here and do nothing, nor am I saying that we should stop going to the meetings. I'm saying we don't have to pay the attorneys along with other water districts that won't even put any money in.
But we're not up to that question right now. We
So,
just
but-
want it on the budget.
You're just changing the story. We are at that point.
We're on the budget.
For my,
Well, it's still on the budget.
if I may for a second. We are just talking about the budget here.
That's correct.
This is not going to be an approval for WIRA, is this correct?
That's
On
correct.
this?
That's
This
correct.
discussion for giving money is to be when?
Is to plan. We're planning.
Okay, we're planning, but when's this
Okay,
discussion
then it's
coming
gonna
up?
have to take place tonight.
Not really,
For the
because
WIRA, it's gonna be taking place
I
tonight?
don't think so.
Because it's not really on the agenda
Okay.
for tonight.
They
If
haven't
it goes
spent our
down
time.
I'm asking a question here.
I realize, I hear what you're saying. Yes, it probably should have been on the agenda for this evening, because if there's money spent in January,
When's the next WIRA meeting?
I guess the one that Richard and I are supposed to go to on that 18th.
No, that's a couple,
I
yeah.
think it's the
But
24th.
back to the question on the legal fees, and that's what the question is, I understand, Robert asked. And as it states right now, if we went ahead with the budget as it states, and I'm comfortable with that, to allow any expenditure, we would need to have approval.
Yeah, but how are we gonna do that?
But it's not gonna
Because we
happen.
asked for it.
So that discussion will come when it's time to approve for this, correct?
Approve the 5,000. If we vote it down, then guess what? We've got a nice big fat
Then
circle.
we got the 5,000 still in there.
And we won't
Okay,
use it.
but
So that would be a discussion.
here's the thing. We got the $5,000 in there earmarked for that project.
That's correct.
Oh, what's gonna happen when the bills come in from Thomas Poor's and the rest of the attorneys and to Brenda like they do now?
Exactly what will happen is up until the point we expend our 10,000 we've already authorized, then we will have to let WIRA people know that we have yet to approve an additional
Correct.
5,000, and we are
Okay,
cut off
I'm
on 10.
comfortable with that.
And I already did that at the last process.
And then when we spend our 10, then we'll have this debate whether we want to throw in any more.
Throw in another 5,000 on this, that's correct. So this approval of this budget does not earmark this money to go there. It still needs to be approved, correct?
It's just planning for a possible use.
Officers' elections.
I'll be first.
I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be chair next year. So let's say that right now. So, if you're having any thought of it, I don't want to be chair next year.
I nominate Jackie Fowler.
And I nominate Phil Cloward to be the secretary of the board.
I nominate Richard Goodson.
Call for the vote.
I guess they're,
Got two nominations.
okay, so you nominated,
Jackie to be the chair.
Do I get to nominate anybody?
sure, have at it.
Richard.
For what? The chair or the
There's your three votes in action.
Robert, you should probably call for a vote on each one of the nominations.
I just assume him stay as secretary.
Okay.
You know, I do have to explain myself here. The reason that I nominated somebody else for the secretary is you've sat on your ass and you have turned your head to illegal
Watch your
stuff.
language, please.
You turned your head over to illegal stuff and then insist your wife. Whatever my butt. You're gonna be held to answer by the community one of these days, Mr. Whitson.
I just went through an election.
I understand.
You're next.
I'm next.
Yeah, you get run before me again.
All right, all right.
I don't know what you're trying to do. You have to run things by the law. You cannot continually tell me that you don't give a damn about breaking the law because they're just gonna slap your hands
Your opinion.
and fine you $100.
Gentlemen, that here.
This is absurd.
According to
For
You
the
are the
chair.
highest paid commissioner on this board.
For the chair,
And I didn't never think that anybody would use this board to generate an income.
according to you,
According to me, there's figures, there's facts and
all right,
figures.
gentlemen, come on. Jackie for chair first. She's the first one nominated.
me chair?
No.
What'd you say? Did you
She
say no?
shook her said yes and said no.
Okay, Phil was secondly nominated. He's for chair.
I'll support that.
Got one.
You can vote for yourself.
Yeah, you've done it.
You don't want it? Okay, I'll do it.
Tom?
I'm not voting. There's nobody here that deserves to be an officer in this, on this board. You know, it's just like I've heard Mr. Cloward say to Brenda Gamache, don't you give that son of a bitch any PDRs he asked for
What's the
until after
language?
the election. That's against the law. I heard it with my own ears.
Okay, call to order on this one.
Yeah.
Phil, you gonna be chair?
Yeah, I'll do it there.
Okay, everybody's good with Phil being the chair?
I'll vote for him.
I don't care, I'm just not gonna be the chair.
Well, Tom's abstaining, you don't vote, so Phil's the new chair.
Okay. Okay. Secretary?
I don't want to.
So you had a nomination for Richard as secretary.
Second.
Okay, we gotta go with a vote on it.
Richard?
Okay, Richard it is. All right. Are we done with this? Meetings, 2015, all right, both of you, knock it off. Until the end of this meeting, I am.
For the month, I got paid $114. For the month, Robert Vandenhoff got paid $114. Let's see, Mr. Whitson got two payments, one of $228, another one of $31.36. Then Mr. Cloward got a check for $456, and Jackie Fowler for $228. And I can tell you what, I've gone to all these meetings and they're meaningless. We're just wasting people's money so we can generate a commissioner day.
So what meetings are we attending or are we not attending? I need to hear what everybody
Okay, so
wants to
let's
do.
start with
I'm
section
just- I'm
three.
just gonna
Section
I'm
three.
just gonna renew Mr. Watkins' motion of last year. And that is any commissioner, and I'll change the date, any commissioner in 2015 wanting to attend section 3, small district committee, wire, emergency management, or any other meeting of importance representing the water district, be allowed to do so and receive commissioner's pay and mileage.
That's before it got out of hand,
Yeah. I'm just.
and that's ridiculous.
That's accurate.
Yeah, you go sick for 45 minutes, already off. And no, you know what? You know what? You're just as crooked as he is.
I just still call for the question.
Well, but things are gonna catch up to you guys. I've exhausted my efforts of even trying to keep this board.
You know, if you'd pay attention, get off the personalities and get on to taking care of your duties as a commissioner, we'd all be a lot better
I
off.
also talked.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Why are you gonna silence me when I have a valid argument, Robert?
You know, we can sit here and argue all night, Tom, I'm sorry.
I know, but you know what? This is about the people in this community. There are people here that can't afford these high bills. And we're just running around like little Jesus and his
And
disciples.
you're gonna sit here and argue it all night.
Oh, come on. No, I'm not. Let's just let them get away with it like they always did before.